on Capitol Report.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
John McKinney comes out swinging.
There is a culture of corruption in Connecticut, and that culture must be stopped.
Is Chris Shays really down 48 points to Linda McMahon?
It's not true. That's impossible.
Dan Roberti smokes Elizabeth Esty and Chris Donovan. Sparks fly in Brookfield. Where's John Larson eating these days? And President Obama turns 51.
Happy birthday to you.
All this week on Capitol Report.
Tom Duchik, a potpourri of political news this week. Lots to talk about. Let's get right at it. The gang is all here. Tanya Meck, Marty Dunleavy, Jody Latina, and back at the table, 2-week absence, Vinnie Penn, mornings at ELI, drinking coffee. What time did you get up in the morning to do your show?
4 o'clock.
And you're on from...
You've got a 5 o'clock shadow already.
Yeah, I'm in vacation mode, but not nearly as sun-kissed as Tanya.
Thank you so much.
We missed you, Vinny, last week.
Okay, let's get right to it. Donovan's in the news again. The 5th District battle is heating up on both sides, Democratic and Republican. We'll tackle that right here in this first block. Donovan came to the airways in the form of a TV ad which explains what he knew, what he didn't know, and what he thinks is going to happen. Let's watch this.
You've seen the attacks. I want you to hear directly from me. What my former campaign employees are accused of is everything wrong with politics. That's why I immediately fired them and asked a former Republican U.S. attorney to conduct an independent investigation. The truth is, no one in Connecticut has worked harder than me to clean up elections. I'm Chris.
Marty, do you have to sit on your front porch and make those kind of ads, or folksiness?
I think you do, because people miss the story in the newspaper. They miss the press conference, and I mean, you do PR. Tell me what you guys would do at Global.
Well, I think he's right. One is the way you talk to voters in the state of Connecticut during an election is through paid advertisement. So that's what he's done. I think he's right on. I think I would take that a step further, and I would actually say, listen, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to answer your questions to the reporters, to a press conference, and just stay. Open mic. I'll answer any questions you have, and I'd stay as long as they wanted to keep me there.
Jody, how come he can't say that like at a press conference, like Tanya suggested? And you pointed out last week they busted him out of the back door and sent him down the stairs, and off he went.
Yeah, it was a bank robbery. He basically just gave the best teleprompter read of his life. And you know what? He waited to do it in a campaign ad instead of talking to the people, and that's very disingenuous.
Less than 2 weeks to go. Are you buying that?
No. And Tanya, would you have okayed the shirt color from a PR stand?
The maroon.
That was misbegotten. And I think he should have... The heads are rolling all around this guy, and I think he should have addressed it in a more guttural way.
That wasn't even his own house. That was his neighbor's house, according to reporting in the Mirror. Yeah, maybe he doesn't have a front porch,
but maybe he didn't know that. Maybe he didn't know.
Oh, come on.
Someone else's front porch, like John Mellencamp.
You're as bad as the conservative newspapers that have come out against him. You're just piling on. You're
Marty, you know, when heads are rolling all around you, it doesn't just... This isn't a zombie movie. You're not just suddenly shocked.
Heads are rolling all around.
The Hartford Current editorial board a bastion of conservatism.
I would call it a bastion of anti-labor sentiment.
Doubtful.
Doubtful.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Jody, John McKinney came out this week swinging hard, calling for a bipartisan investigation into this. Let's see what Johnny had to say here.
We need to get to the bottom of when this started, who was involved, find out what those other 6 bills were, and if there were more involved. We need to find out who the legislative employee or employees are who were involved, what they knew, and when they knew it.
I think Vinny's in a maroon mode
It's just maroon everywhere.
Maroon 5, baby.
Even right there, it should have been more. And he's a good man, McKinney.
He's been on your program, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good man. There should have been. Where's the moral outrage? It should be more guttural than it is. The only one outraged is Donovan, repeatedly.
Well,
you know what, though? At least somebody stood up and asked for this. John is the lone wolf in all of this, and it's really sad.
The lone wolf. John McKinney, the lone wolf. I actually agree with him.
Thank
I
you.
think there should be investigation. Now that it seems to have entered the building, you know, people need to go to jail for this.
It's
people need to go to jail for this.
you know,
but I'm going to predict that Chris Donovan's not going to be one of them.
It'll be all sacrificial.
No,
lambs.
that's
There's not a
true.
lack of Democratic candidates trying to eat their own on this one. They're all jostling for position with less than 2 weeks ago. Dan Roberti's out with a hard-hitting, smoking ad, and Elizabeth Esty out yesterday, Friday, with an ad. Watch these both.
House Speaker Chris Donovan took money from a fight promoter, then green-lighted Ultimate Fighting. Took money from tanning bed operators, then killed a bill that protected kids from skin cancer. Any surprise the FBI just busted his campaign for taking $27,000 to kill a roll-your-own tobacco bill?
I'm Dan Roberti, and I approve this message because this stuff's got to stop.
Elizabeth Esty took money from polluters her husband regulates.
I'm Elizabeth Esty, and I approve this message.
Washington's a mess, and Dan Roberti would make it worse. Roberti has no work history in Connecticut. He's the co-owner of a powerful Washington special interest lobbying firm. No wonder they're bankrolling Roberti's campaign, funding a shadowy super PAC. The Registered Citizen even said it should scare every voter that a powerful D.C. lobbyist would try to install his own personal congressman. Dan Roberti is already part of the problem.
Tanya, why is Roberti and Esty attacking each other? Aren't they fighting for the kind of Donovan protest vote? So why would they be attacking? Unless they have internal polling numbers that says either one of them is trying to make a move on Donovan and take over the race.
Yeah, I'm actually confused. I'm a little hung up on the tanning bed. I just had a flashback to high school from that. But moving on, yeah, somebody has polling numbers. Somebody has identified Roberti as a threat to her race, and I find that extremely interesting. We're going to see. There's the only reason you spend money on TV attacking somebody is if you think they're a threat. So we're going to have to see what plays out.
Marty, you're no fan of Roberti, are you?
You know, I think that Dan Roberti would make a great candidate for second selectman in one of the small towns in the district.
Like Goshen or Warren or
Scotland. But he's not ready for prime time. He's not ready to be a congressman. And if he is, it's because he's been weaned on his father's lobbying firm, really one of the kind of big wheeler-dealer influence peddlers of all time.
We got to get to the Republican race. Vinny, let me get to you. Let's look at the Republicans. There's kind of feisty debate on Monday between the Republican candidates. Take a look at this.
I am the best candidate to win this election. I will be your voice and I will be your vision, and that's why I'm running for this race. And one of the reasons that some people don't even get involved in politics are these attacks on candidates and this nasty political sphere that we have to run in.
But we also have to face the facts here, Lisa. You have a grand jury investigation going on right now into your business, into your campaign operations. And we just don't know what's going to come of that. Are we going to take that Donovan's greatest weakness off the table in November? That would be a huge strategic blunder. And so I think whoever we put forward in this race, and there are no perfect candidates, but whoever we put forward ought not to be the subject of a federal jury investigation of any type.
Well, I don't want to jump on Lisa. Look, it would be nice to have a determination before 14 days from today, so it's put to bed.
I don't think there can be any question in the minds of any Republican in Connecticut that the candidate the Democrats are rooting for is Lisa Wilson Foley. Because should she win this primary, the Democrats know she'll be the one candidate who doesn't have in her toolbox the ability to call Chris Donovan out for his ethical transgressions.
Jody, I know Marty is chomping to get in on this conversation, but let me ask you this. So I've talked to a bunch of campaign managers, and the campaign internals are all pretty much that Bernier is kind of out. So it's a race between Lisa Wilson Foley and Mark Greenberg and Andrew Rohrabach. So now you figure Rohrabach and Wilson Foley kind of splitting up that moderate center. Maybe Greenberg sneaks in here?
I don't think that that's at all what's going to happen. I just think that it's going to be Andrew, because I think that you want a wounded Donovan and you want an Andrew Rohrabach, because you've got the 180 there. You've got the angel and you've got the devil. So bring it on, say the Republicans.
Well, obviously I want Lisa Wilson Foley because, you know, anybody...
You got a corrupt guy, she might be, so, you know, even Stephen?
And any time, I don't have a corrupt guy. I have people around him that may have done some things wrong, but he hasn't done anything wrong.
The Democrats standing beside him. Democrats, the working party, are already getting there are other seat ready.
Come on.
If he wins and has to drop out.
Stop filibustering.
I'm not filibustering. I'm telling you facts.
No, you're telling me malarkey.
Vacancy committees are already being
the point is that I think Andrew would be the best candidate here because I think he's a decent, honest legislator. Be that as it may, you know, John Rowland's hand-picked candidate, Lisa Wilson Foley, and John's getting kickbacks from her business to be for her. I think she's pretty tainted. And, you know, if the voters want to vote for a candidate that's associated with a convicted former governor of the state, good for me.
We will have to leave it there. When Capitol Report returns, still lots more to come. A polling bonanza in the state last week. We'll talk about all the numbers when Capitol Report returns.